Good morning and welcome to Sips of Sanity. I'm Kelly.
Good morning, I'm Karen.
If you're just joining us by audio today, thank you for your interest and welcome. As everyone now knows, these first ones are available to the public on YouTube. We put it on Facebook, and we are doing our darndest to get it on the website as soon as possible. But the next couple shows are just available on patreon.com. So if you are interested at the end of this episode in hearing the rest of them, you can head over to patreon.com/bysarlo for the rest of the series.
Good.
Now, our disclaimer this month is that due to Northern Ontario weather, Carmen Theobald is not here. So we've had to go ahead and tape without her so that we can do everything on time. But she's coming back, and we're hoping that she will be your March Sips of Sanity.
And if you're listening from anywhere in the world and you think, what does that mean?
It means snow.
Carmen got buried.
The highway got buried, at least.
Right. Okay. So our Sips of Sanity series for this month, for February of 2020. Isn't that exciting? 2020, new decade. It's kind of really hitting me as I'm hearing that more and more in the news. And so what I've done in this set is really listen to the clients, really listen lately to people who've come in and who've called in from all over the world to say what's going on in their lives and what they're struggling with and what they can't find help with on the internet.
Intuitively. That was very broad.
True.
Don't call us for your medical problems. Don't call us for
Yes.
your IT problems. We're talking about intuitive intelligence.
Yes. And so today's show is 100% based on intuitiveness. Because boy, oh boy, as we are facing challenges with the planet, more and more people have anxiety, more depression, more stress. But I'll say at the same time, the gifts are opening quicker. And that more and more people of all ages are asking, what do I do when I see black shadows? What happens? Why am I dreaming of rape every night? Why am I dreaming of people being murdered? Is this a dream or is this real? So I thought what we would do is tackle the most frequently asked questions in the last couple of months.
So this isn't going to be in any particular order or proper sequence like we typically try and do.
Right.
And your reflective questions, like I said, if you are joining us on Patreon, because they will be coming out next Monday, your reflective questions will be more geared towards how to be in tune with your own self and how to be a better, I'll say partner in a relationship of any kind if you're starting to talk about these things.
I think that's fantastic, Kelly, because when somebody has their own sense of reality being shaken, which means waking up, or some people refer to it as awakening or starting to use your intuitive side, other people around could make fun of you or say it doesn't exist or, that's all crap.
Or it's just a dream.
Yeah, and dismiss it. And I do like to point out for the people that need it, that first of all, if anybody's intuitive and is going through this, they know how real it is. So be choosy who you express this to then, because if that person's response is a dirty look or what are you talking about, dismissive, ignorant, and ignorant can mean lack of awareness and education, and it can also mean meanness. So if there's any of those things whatsoever, I would end the conversation with that person and find another person who has their own experiences so that there is kindness in the response and that there is collaboration and cooperation and creativity, problem solving, thinking, all of the things that you want in a partner. You may even choose to find a mentor. And that's one of the things that comes under our first section and does actually get repeated in a few of the other ones. So everyone's going to hear us frequently say in this series of 5 that the type of people that you are speaking to, sharing with, and learning from really do need your scrutiny. So if you're on the web and you're looking at a site and it's negative, you really do need to say, why am I reading stuff that's negative? If it's all fear-based, you really do need to sit there and go, why am I reading fear-based shit? Why am I not looking for people that problem solve in healthy ways? and aren't trying to create drama. Is there a healthy, calm process? And that's the type of mentor you should be looking for. Or teacher, however
Or
you want to word
source.
that. Sources, whether you're reading them, whether you're listening to them, there should be consistency so that you feel supported and not threatened in who you are. Because our intuitiveness is who we are. Okay,
So you've got show number 1 as...
dream walking.
Okay.
Yeah, so this came about because of a particular couple of clients that came in and sat down and just started with, could you help me with what's going on in my life? And I heard the guide say, well, they're referring to their dreams. And so when I questioned them and said, do you actually mean dream state and the quality of your dreams? Yes. So I said, well, let's check it out and see what's going on. And the very first thing that the guides said to me is they're dream walking and they don't know it. They think they're having bad dreams. And I said to the guides, what is she dreaming? And she said she's dreaming of rape repeatedly. And so I thought, well, then she needs a pelvic physiotherapist.
Oof, yeah.
That was my first thought. And breathing techniques and wonderful visualizations to relax her pelvic floor because she's going to wake up totally clenched. So I realized I skipped a step there. So maybe we can back it up first. I mentioned all of that to her about the rape being what she was asking about, and that she wanted to know if it was a past life that was coming forward.
Good question.
Yeah, I love the intelligence of these clients now. Is this a past life? Is this merely representative of something currently going on and it's metaphorical? What is it? And the guide said, no, she's actually dream walking. She's actually an empathic person who really wants the world to be a better place. And so she put it out there to be a good person. And I don't mean a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I mean a good person. And so the spirit guides took her up on the offer and they have her dream walking to help people who actually are experiencing these things. And her soul is there to comfort them, but she feels like she's the one that's being raped in the dream.
Yep.
And I know you know that. I know that you and I have both had those dreams, and that it took us time and asking the spirit guides the purpose of them, why they're carried out in such a way, because we literally are in the spirit of the person who's being raped. And that was really explained to her so that she could understand, no, this is not a past life. No, this is not in relation to you being violated in this lifetime in different ways. It did come out, though, that she is a people pleaser, and that a little piece of that in the dream, I'm going to just say a little piece, was a warning to her that she does allow people to violate her. I don't mean sexually. She does not in any way sexually, but as a people pleaser, she does allow people to cross her boundaries. So she sat back and went, okay, I can totally get that piece. And I said, but the deepest part of it, the 99%, is that you're dream walking. So let's talk about that.
Can we pause for a second? Because I want to touch on all potential listeners. And I think if you've been following us for a while, it's going to be very normal to go, oh yeah, that was way back in episode 6 about dream walking. And we've shared lots of stories about that. But there are people who will only have a frame of reference that is very human, or if that, where they will go, maybe I drank too much before I went to bed. Maybe I ate too much before I went to bed. Because we know in psychology, where people study sleep and dreams, that we tend to have more vivid or active dreams when we are stimulating the digestive system before bed. And that's not false, but it's only part of the actual explanation, and sometimes not even a factor.
I was just going to say that wouldn't even be a factor for me because there isn't a single night that isn't active.
I know, but I'm just thinking if someone is listening to this and trying to find themselves in the actual story, then the important thing to know is that this isn't what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about an actual intuitive experience And that's important because then you're not brushing off the seriousness of it or the reality of it. Because as you wake up from dream walking, you still have the lingering feelings and sometimes the physical sensations that you had in the dream as well.
Yes.
This isn't about food or water.
That's right. Thank you.
Or temperature in the room, the human things that scientists try and so far educate us about.
Oh, I get what you're pointing at. Because I remember old myths, I would call them old myths, where I remember science or someone in science saying things like your shoulders must be cold. You have bad dreams when you lay on your back. Or you sleep on your stomach. That's when you get nightmares.
And I know for myself, I have I am more likely to have nightmares if I am on my back than if I'm on my side. So it takes a little bit further evaluation if I wake up on my back and go, shit, that was partly me, but I have to actually evaluate the dream itself and ask if it was dream walking. Mm-hmm. So I like people to have many pieces to work with so that they can do a healthy evaluation of what they are experiencing.
Oh, I like that.
Because some of them so far, some of you don't dream walk.
Yeah.
Not everyone does, and that's okay. It's not, it's not a requirement. It's just something that you can be educated about, and it may eventually be something that you do. But if you can know what you're up to, then you can know how to deal with your own experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about being aware of the decisions and the things that are going on in all dimensions and in all realities. And one of the wonderful things about our society now is that it's more encourageable for people to talk about realities. Having said that, some people still don't like those conversations, but science too has caught up to a degree to be able to say they do exist. Okay, so we talked about seeing a pelvic physiotherapist. We talked about relaxation techniques when she wakes up, breathing techniques, being aware of her environment. So if she gets up after a dream walking, she might want to be aware of the type of music that's in the home, if there's yelling and screaming, if there are other people and she needs silence, if she needs to be by herself for a while to take care of her needs. And needs might be to think about it, to debrief with someone and talk it out. It could be that she chooses to write a few keywords down or sentences, or if she's someone who sketches or doodles, that she might choose to use doodle paper, but some way to process it a little bit. And if she wants to come back to it later, that might be there to go to. Or if she's trying to chart it to see significant senses and meanings to it. And actually what plays out in the rest of the day. So if you're dream walking, might you hear in the news that someone was raped? If she's having a dream walk where she's at a volcano, does she read or research that day on the internet that a volcano erupted or was active or something? So their research can come with it following dream walking to validate, to see if it's accurate for some people. And sometimes it's right in your own immediate vicinity. You might dream walk somebody, you were at a birth, and then go to work and hear that a coworker had someone in their family deliver a baby. So there are some ways to be able to think, wow, was I at that then? And if you chart some of those things and you keep record of your accuracy or how it unfolds, you can see some patterns unfold over time. So you and I always encourage people to do the charting and to ask people questions about what they remember, sensations using all of the senses. So I remember going through a process with her and suggesting to her that she may choose to chart and what she would like to put on the chart that she feels could help her process it emotionally and I'm going to say factually, but emotions are factual. So we'll just differentiate that slightly. in that she might want to write down particulars around others' senses, what she saw, what she heard, as well as what she felt or what she thinks might be meaningful.
Good.
The debriefing, I think, is important. And we chatted, as you and I did a little bit earlier, just in regards to being very particular about who you choose to debrief with. And that if they show signs of being rude to you or to the process that you're going through, to step away from that person.
Or the moment. Because I know too, you and I debrief tons, and sometimes when I fly in the door in the morning and I'm late or I'm rushed or I'm doing something or focused on something else, it's not that I don't want to hear about it, it's that I'm not in the headspace to hear about it. So proper check-ins, which we've done podcasts on before, to say, when you have time, can I debrief about my dream last night? They still may be your person, it just might not be the moment.
Right. Very good.
And that's important to remember, because then we don't take things personally and we don't think we're at a loss at that point and feeling further isolated if the dream has been particularly upsetting.
Yeah, well, sorry.
I was just some dream walking is absolutely beautiful, super fun, and you can hardly contain your excitement, right?
I think people come in and talk about the dream walking and look for help when it's distressing. That's been mostly my experience.
But I think about clients who, and I know you have them as well, the clients that are booking once a month or every 2 weeks, especially with myself, where I'm now weaving a lot of these Sips of Sanities into life coaching.
Yeah.
So, we might work on dream walking every third session together, and we play games and we test. And so they come in totally excited to celebrate that we met in this field that we agreed upon.
Right. And that's the key here, is for people to understand that in dream walking, your spirit is agreeing with another person's spirit to meet in another reality.
For some purpose.
Yes. And to remember, for the people that are doing it joyfully with intention and it's a good, positive experience, great. But when it is a rape or it's violent, that you may be setting your intention for love and for healing. So moving on with that one of the other tools for it was to nap. It was still to find time, because sometimes you can awake from dream walking and be completely fatigued.
And if you can't nap, which is a good tool, remember to be gentle with yourself. I think one of the best things you've ever said to me and continue to say to me is, you worked hard last night. So you'll acknowledge that even though you spent 8 hours sleeping, or however long people are sleeping for, you worked. You didn't just get rest. You woke up tired because you never stopped being there for someone else.
Oh, yeah. You and I will often make comments to each other about that we worked all night. So it better be a gentle day.
Yeah. Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth.
And in particular, then, I know for you and I that we check in with each other more to say, do you need something? Or to be there for each other.
And we're more careful about what we eat. We're more careful about if we leave the house, or if we do, who it's with and what we're doing. Like you said, you infuse pockets of your day with gentleness if it's doable. Yeah.
And I think too, when you're dream walking, you may want to rearrange something. You may choose to cancel something, or to reschedule it just because a different day would be better for you, because you're fatigued or because you are upset. Or it may benefit you to say to a friend, if that's the case. I wouldn't not say to walk up to a boss and say, I can't go to a meeting because I dream walked last night. But you can say to a friend, I had a rough night. I had difficult dreams. You can word it as dream walking or whatever it is that you want. But I think it's important to start using the right vocabulary, and whether your friend understands it or agrees or believes in it or not, that you just let yourself use your own vocabulary. If they don't understand it or believe it, that's not your business. But you don't have to diminish your own experience and dumb it down for them.
So one of the other things that we kind of touched on, but I just want to reiterate, is if you can, avoid crowds, especially places like malls. If you're going to go to a space that you know is gentle, there are some like coffee shops that are very gentle. There are some outdoor spaces that are very gentle, and there may be crowds dispersed around you, but it becomes more of a safe space than heading into a mall.
Oh, I like that. Think about a yoga class or something like that could still be wonderful and help you process all of that and be around, say, like-minded people.
Well, and people who are just setting their intention to sort of be in a particular kind of energy or space.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And another one that we are advocating for right now is listen to podcasts
Yeah.
of good resources.
Yes, that's correct. Make sure that the people that you choose to listen to or that you choose to question the ideas around what you're going through are healthy people and that they're providing you with healthy solutions to this.
Yeah, and I think that goes for anything because, you know, I think about all the doomsday messages about climate change and all of those horrific things that are going on right now. And if people are just spewing problems, they're not a good source for you. You should be listening to someone who can state what the problem is, but is also willing to say, and here's what you can do for yourself, for your environment, for your family, etc.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And last thing before we end this show is that dream walking is just another state of consciousness. It's healthy. It's a good place to be. It can be a safe and productive place. We can get good answers there. We can problem solve there. And when it is difficult, we have guides and resources in it.
And it becomes easier to do. And I feel like there's a disclaimer with the word easier, but it becomes easier to do when you know how to debrief properly and take care of yourself after the fact.
Yeah. And
it doesn't become easier in the images that you see. It doesn't become easier in the immediate feelings that you experience in the dreams. That, I've got no good news. But when you wake up, you can support yourself better.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So if you have questions or comments about today's show, you can email us at info@bysarlo.com. If it's no bother to you, we would really appreciate if you headed over to YouTube to give us any kind of rating or on Google reviews. It costs nothing and it helps us tremendously boost our outreach in who can kind of access these shows. So thank you in advance to everyone working really hard to do that. We had an odd influx of really lovely testimonials in the last couple weeks.
Yes.
And we want to say thank you again. We're doing our best to read them out loud as they're coming in if it's appropriate. But thank you to everyone who's providing some support in any kind of way. We very much appreciate that.